And you're going to go ahead and turn that switch on. Go to the back of the machine. Make sure the lights are on. And then go ahead and turn them off. And they're off. Hey everybody, welcome to another installation video at the MCE Off-Road Garage. Today we're going to be working with the Defender HD11 pertaining to these reverse lights. On these new models, it does come with automatic reverse lights now, so when you put the machine in reverse they come on, which is super nice. But there are going to be times, at least for myself, that I'm going to want to turn those on manually regardless of what gear I'm in. So our kit is going to do that, and we're going to go through the overview of the kit, what comes in it, all that good stuff, and then we're going to go through the entire installation process, show you how easy it is, and make these a little bit more practical. So let's jump over and look at the product. In your manual reverse light kit, you're going to have your harnesses, some zip ties to tidy up your wires, keep them all nice and clean when you're running them down underneath the tunnel and up to the dash, and then your manual switch as well. Basically, it's going to take you longer to take the machine apart than to run these wires, but that's the simplicity of this kit. If you have our auxiliary power kit, it's going to be even quicker than that, because you won't have to tear the dash out, or you won't have to tear the dash out, the floor out, any of that stuff, because you have already done that once before when you installed that power kit. But if you don't have that kit and you're just putting in a regular rocker switch, then it's going to take you a little bit longer. Probably I'd say give yourself 2 hours if you're doing it the first time, 2.5 hours. But yeah, this is how simple the kit is. Just a couple harnesses and a switch, and we'll get to installing it. Alright, so now for installation, if you have the power auxiliary kit, it's going to be a pretty quick little video here. But if you do have you don't have the power auxiliary kit, you're going to need to follow along a little bit longer for the panel removal and all that sort of stuff. But I wanted to go through this part first. So you're going to tilt your box up. And you're going to get in here. This plug, this larger plug here with the 5 wires going into it, this is the one we're going to actually take apart, or pull the 2 plug ends apart. So you're going to want to pull back on this gray piece, and then on this black section of the plug, you're going to want to push that down and then pull the plug apart. Have that apart, you're going to want to take our harness here, and this is just going to plug basically in line. So you're going to plug that into that end, this one into this end, make sure they click, and then to lock them, you're just going to push these down, and then you can just tuck this back in here like so. And then your wire end here is just going to follow these wires along the side, and then all the way down through the firewall back to where the battery area is underneath the passenger seat. Alright, so now at this point we're going to remove the battery cover. There's just these 2 twist pins. There's one farther up there towards the middle, and then there's one over here on the outside. Just pull this out and just twist and turn them out. Once you get the cover off, that's when we're going to go ahead and just disconnect your battery right away too, for the wiring, just to be safe. And then we'll move along to get some panels out after that. We've got our battery cover off. It's just going to be the 2 twist locks. Make sure this seat is in the down position, and then pull this end out, slide it out. But the wire you ran through the firewall is right here. If you have our power accessory kit, just run that over to where you have your bullet connectors for your rear power. Just plug this into the red side. The ground will be taken care of with the taillight circuit and the switch circuit up front, so there's not a separate ground wire run. It's just a signal wire. Just use whatever number you would like to use off the ganged switch panel, and that's pretty much it. If not, we'll go through how to remove all the panels if you're going to run it manually for the manual rocker switch. Alright, so to remove the pillar panel covers here, the process is going to be the same for the driver and the passenger. You're going to pull out 3 push pins. There's 1 here, 2, and then 3 up at the top, and then remove this T30 Torx. It's up at the top of the pillar. Then you're going to go ahead and take a small screwdriver and get it behind this clip on the shock mount here. And you're just going to pull this clip out towards the center of the machine, and then it will release the shock from the mount. And then from that point, then you can pull your pillar off around this shock mount bolt. You're going to want to do this just one side at a time. After you have the pillar removed, you're going to want to go ahead and just take your shock and then just click it back on there, so that way, you know, at least one shock is holding the window up at a time. That way you don't have to worry about it falling down. The other note is this little air vent. There's a rubber vent guide behind it that's attached to it. Just make sure that when you're pulling that apart, that is going to kind of give you a little bit of tension from pulling it off, but you can just pull on it and the rubber boot will come off the plastic. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to pop off these cover panels. There's one on the driver's side, same way on the passenger side. But right here you can just get your thumbs underneath here, just lift up, and then it pops up, and then you can sneak it out like that. Once you have that out, then we're going to go ahead and remove these 3 T30 Torx bolts for the window latch, and we're going to move that out of the way too. Alright, now that we pulled off the side panels, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T30 Torx bolts that need to be removed first. Alright, so now that you got your bolts removed from the dash panel, all you have to do is just grab on this front edge and just lift up on it, and then it will unsnap from its spots, and then you can lift it up and out away from these shock mounts here, and then you just slide it right out of place. Alright, so the first floor mat we're gonna get removed is the driver's side. It is actually screwed in with some T20 Torx all along the bottom, and then there's one up here, and then also one up back behind the pedals. So you're gonna remove those along with the washers, and then we're gonna pull this floor mat out first. The next, we're gonna remove all the other floor mats. They are just held in by pins. You can just get underneath them with a flathead screwdriver. Basically just pull them up, and then grab onto them, pull them out. So you're gonna go around, do that. There's a bunch of them. There's at least 4 per floor mat. So just go around, pull all those out, and then you're gonna remove the center floor mats first. Start with the front one, then the rear center, and then you can do the passenger rear, and driver rear. Alright, so now that we have the floor liners out of the machine, we can go ahead and remove this first front center panel. It's just push pins along the passenger and along the driver's side. The best way to get those is with the push pin pliers. Basically get in here, pull the center of the push pin up. So either the whole thing will come out like that, which is easy, but most of the time they'll actually separate, and then you have to pull the lower part out first. So pull those out, and then there's a T30 Torx right here and 2 T20s up here. You just remove those. We're not going to pull this panel out, but we're just going to remove those so that way we can get access back behind it later. And then once we get all this out, then we'll move to the back panel. Once you have the push pins out of the rear panel sides, then there's going to be one push pin here that holds the air duct in place. You're going to want to remove that one as well. Alright, so the best way I found to remove this center panel in the back with the vents on it. If you don't have the vents on it, it's still kind of a pain, but it's a little less of a pain. But there's a torque screw up there I've already removed. Torque screw right here I've already removed. And then down here there are 3 push pins that I've removed. Then you can pull this panel out of the way. Then from there you can basically pull this boot off here and lift this out of the way. Then you can slide this forward and then pull it out the driver's door. Alright, now starting to remove this rear center panel if you have a Max. There are push pins along this side, kind of like the front. There are also push pins along the passenger or the driver's side as well, that you will remove those. Once you get those out, then we'll move on to the next step to get this panel out of here. All the panels are removed. You're going to want to pull all your slack wire through, and then you're going to run your wire up along all the other stock wire, or up across the battery. Then you're going to run it along the stock wire loom all the way up to the front of the machine. Alright, so now you ran your wire up to this point. You can pull this panel up right here, and you kind of get your hand back here, so that way when you feed your wire along the stock wiring here, then you can feel it come back through underneath this panel. You can grab it, kind of pull it up, and then this wire is going to go up through the bottom of the dash here, and then it'll come up right next to the ECU right in this area here. Alright, so before we run our wire up through the top, through the dash, I just sent down a regular piece of wire down right here next to the ECU. That's going to come out underneath the dash right here. What that's going to help us do is, once we have our wire run through, it's something that we can electrical tape these two together, and then you can pull the wire up through the dash instead of trying to feed it up through. Just makes the installation a little bit easier. A little trick. You can also use, a nice thick piece of string or whatever, just to get it down through there, something to attach the wire to. So now at this point, you're going to take your switch harness here. This is going to have enough wire to either run next to this slot position here, this open blank, or if you have the 3 stock ones still left here and you don't have our power auxiliary kit, you can run it down here as well. Just because we have this, I'm going to be showing you how to run it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this panel out, and then there's a little plug on the back, or a little depressor on the back of these blanks. You just push that down and then slide it out. And from that point, you want to feed your switch plug end here right down behind the screen and have it come out right here. And then you can stick plug end out of that. Then you just go ahead and snap that back on there. Not a big deal. Then up top here, we have our keyed power. So I have our power post and our ground post right here. These 2 nuts are going to be supplied in the kit. If you haven't installed anything, this is the first thing you're installing on your machine, these nuts are not supplied by the factory for these posts. So we're just going to remove those. I'm going to take those 2 off. I'm going to put our red to power and our black to ground. Alright, so now with those hooked up, nuts reinstalled, snugged up, this other bullet connector end that was open from our switch harness, I'm just going to take the bullet connector from the back harness that we ran through the floor. I'm just going to plug those 2 in, and then we can go ahead and take our rocker switch. This little tab here goes on the bottom of the switch. Push that in like that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to test the system. Alright, so now at this point, you're going to attach your key. Just press the start button once just to turn the keyed power on. And you're going to go ahead and turn that switch on. And then all we have to do, go to the back of the machine. Make sure the lights are on. We're good to go there. And then go ahead and turn them off. And they're off. So at this point, everything's tested, everything's good to go. You go ahead and reinstall floor panels and dash in the opposite order that you took them all apart. And as always, if anybody has any questions or during installation or before you even purchase, you can always contact us through our website, through our email. You can give us a phone call. We'll be happy to help you. Hope everything works out. Go ahead and check out all of our other new stuff we have coming out for the HD11. Go ahead and like the page, subscribe, so that way you can get the notifications on all the new products we're coming out with. And safe riding, everybody.